We've got your back. That's the message from Democratic governors after meeting with President Biden, as more Democrats in Congress are calling for him to step aside.
Yes, fit for office. None of us are denying Thursday night was a bad performance, but it doesn't impact what I believe he's delivering.
Can the president regain support as polls go down and the push to replace him grows? Hurricane Beryl ravaging its way through the Caribbean. At least 8 people are dead, tropical islands ripped to shreds, and the U.S. could soon be in its path. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security issuing an alert to be vigilant on this 4th of July. The new warning about possible lone attackers or small groups who may be up to no good. Looks like everyone wants to be free on Independence Day. This bull running through the streets, charging at pedestrians, how he gets caught, and who is on the hook for the damage he caused.
Hi, my name is Sergeant Gabriela Gonzalez with 212 Cav out Poland. Happy 4th of July to the Lopez family in San Antonio, Texas.
It's Independence Day, and it's morning in America. Good morning. Happy 4th of July. From our News Nation headquarters in America's heartland, it's time for News for All America. I'm Nick Smith. There have been a number of developing stories overnight, and we will cover them all. But we'll begin this morning in our nation's capital, where the pressure continues to grow for President Biden to jump out of the race. His very own presidency is in question for re-election. A group of Democratic governors meeting at the White House and putting their support behind the president. More than 20 governors met with the president both in person and virtually, echoing the White House in saying Mr. Biden will stay in the race and he's in it to win. The wave of support coming as a new Decision Desk HQ poll finds 80% of registered voters are concerned with the president's cognitive health. News Nation's Alina Shirazi is live at the White House. And Alina, more Democrats, though, are saying, Mr. Biden, please step aside.
Yeah, Nick, yet another shoe to drop here. Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton is the latest Democrat, as you mentioned, to come out against President Biden. He says he has great concerns the president can actually beat Donald Trump in November, adding that he respects those who've already pushed for the president to step aside, and urging Democrats to, quote, have all viable options on the table in order to win the election. And Representative Moulton's concerns about President Biden's chances really just playing out in the latest New York Times Siena poll that shows former President Trump leading by 8 percentage points among registered voters. And we know lawmakers and voters are still worried, Nick, about President Biden's age, his cognitive health, amongst other things. But the Biden administration here at the White House has been adamant that he is staying in the race. He's not going anywhere.
And Alina, let's point it out. You mentioned this in your report that the president seems to have support of some key Democratic governors. What are they saying after they left that meeting?
Yeah, Nick, so yesterday a group of over 20 governors met. They said President Biden, after all of it, was fit to serve another term. They say they're committed to helping reelect him. That group discussed the importance of beating Donald Trump and getting Democrats elected across the country in November. They also said President Biden acknowledged he was exhausted during the debate. They said they are unwavering support because of one poor performance.
We were honest about the concerns that we were hearing from people. And we were also honest about the fact that as the president continued to tell us and show us that he was all in, that we said that we would stand with him. Because as Governor Walz said, the president has always had our backs. We're going to have his back as well.
And we know the president has 2 key campaign stops in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin this weekend. For he and Vice President Kamala Harris campaign in Nevada together next Tuesday. Nick, we know President Biden will also be in Wilmington, Delaware this weekend.
Alina, thank you so much. Joining us now, Democratic strategist and News Nation contributor Kurt Bardella and Republican strategist Malik Abdul. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th to you too as well. Let's jump right in there. Kurt, I have to ask you this. Are Democrats in trouble, or has this shifted the conversation for only a short amount of time?
They are in trouble, and really nothing is going to change about this dynamic until we see President Biden, and particularly coming up Friday, tomorrow, how he does with this big sit-down interview with George Stephanopoulos. I don't think that there's ever been as much pressure on a president, on a candidate for a TV interview as what is building right now. I think a lot of Democrats in Congress, particularly ones that I have spoken to, are waiting to see how this interview goes down before they decide whether to publicly come forward and call for the president to step aside and let Kamala Harris perhaps take that torch. A lot of Democrats in Congress I've spoken to have been recalling back in 2016 during one of the presidential primary debates when I think it was Congressman Eric Swalwell who said, pass the torch. That was 7-8 years ago. And here we are all these years later. I think a lot of the frustration that you're hearing right now from Democrats is that this is something that could have been avoided had people been honest about what really is going on inside this White House. And they feel a little, caught off guard because they've been told for months, it's okay. He's great behind closed doors. You should see him. He's got so much energy.
Right.
And yet what we saw at that debate did not align with the narrative that we've been told.
Yeah, Kurt, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Malik, I have to ask you this, though. There are still those who believe Mr. Trump to be morally unfit to hold the office of the presidency. Why is someone that many have deemed in the last 2020 election to be morally unfit to hold the presidency the right choice, even if we're questioning the cognitive health of Mr. Biden?
Because I think what we saw at the debate on Thursday was significant. The debate rules were designed to actually constrain Donald Trump to help Joe Biden. But what we saw in that debate, that none of those benefits actually helped him at all. It was Donald Trump who was being able to articulate actually a vision forward when it came to the issue on abortion, where he said that he supported the 3 exceptions for abortion. I thought that that was a very huge thing. What we saw from Joe Biden, it fed into many of the negative narratives that we've seen about Joe Biden. If you believe that Donald Trump is morally unfit, the debate didn't sway you. If you believe that Donald Trump is a liar, the debate didn't sway you at all. But what we're seeing, even from the polls that are coming out after the debate, this time we're now almost a week after, well, fully a week after the debate, we're seeing that the American people, despite the accusations about Donald Trump being morally unfit, they believe that they fared better when Donald Trump was in office. They believe that our foreign policy and how we're viewed around the world was better. They believe that Donald Trump was better for them on the economy. So despite the moral depravity that many people feel as if Donald Trump has, he's polling much better than Joe Biden and every other Democrat.
And polling is the subject that we're talking about this morning. In fact, a New York Times Siena College poll, Kurt, finds former President Trump now leading by 8 points over President Biden with registered voters. We have talked about this before. You have mentioned, Nick, it's too early to pay attention to polls. Kurt, that number is a problem.
Well, it is and it isn't if you're a Democrat. The one thing that I've noticed for all the talks about polls is that Donald Trump has a ceiling, and he's had a ceiling for a pretty long time. You would think that a candidate who suffered one of the worst performances in debate history would be over 50% just by that performance alone. And yet he never breaks that threshold, which goes on to tell you intuitively that the American people aren't exactly thrilled and enthusiastic and excited about the prospect of Donald Trump returning to the White House. So if Democrats are able to present an alternative that doesn't have the same type of baggage that President Biden has, that there's real viability there. Trump frankly should be at 55% right now. And any other time in history, that candidate going up against a candidate who performed the way Joe Biden did would be across that 50% Mendoza line. But that's the ceiling that Donald Trump has, and that's the silver lining for Democrats.
And that's the silver lining for Mr. Biden and his reelection bid. Malik, how much of a test will tomorrow's primetime interview be for President Biden? And what else will Democrats be analyzing?
Well, I don't think that this interview will be helpful to Joe Biden at all, because it was not Joe Biden. It was Donald Trump who needed the attention of crowds. It was Donald Trump who needed a teleprompter. This is a pre-taped interview, and I think that Joe Biden more than likely will do okay in this interview. So anyone expecting tomorrow's interview to be some sort of blockbuster shouldn't be surprised if Joe Biden is able to sit before what I'm sure is in a very safe space and conduct the interview. I don't think that the interview tomorrow will matter at all. What we saw on that debate stage is what will matter, not what we saw the very next day when he was at the rally in the cold that they say that Joe Biden had, where he doesn't take any medication for it, where he isn't seen by a doctor. None of this will matter in this interview on tomorrow.
Malik, you're like, if you can put him live in front of a crowd, that's one thing, but a taped interview is quite another. Malik Abdul and Kurt Bardella, gentlemen, thank you both.
Thanks for having me.
See you next hour.
Absolutely. Is the U.S. now in Hurricane Beryl's sights? That's a question I'm going to turn to our meteorologist, because that powerful storm continues its march through the Caribbean, heading toward the Cayman Islands after battering Jamaica's shoreline with damaging winds and high storm surges. The hurricane killing at least 8 people across several islands, and right now, officials are assessing the damage in Grenada after Beryl's direct hit turned deadly. Meteorologist Max Siparis is joining us now to break it all down. Max, is there a problem headed our way?
Potentially, but we're still in monitoring mode. If we did see Gulf impacts for some of the states there, it wouldn't be until Monday of next week. Right now, we're still keeping our eyes on the Caribbean as this storm makes its way towards the Grand Cayman Island this morning. Still a Category 3 with 120-mile-per-hour winds. Where's it heading? Up next will be Cancun area near the Yucatan Peninsula this time tomorrow, hopefully weakening to a Category 1 hurricane by then. Still probably a Category 1 hurricane as it approaches central Mexico or South Texas, Corpus Christi, Brownsville. You're in that cone. Want to stay on alert here heading into the upcoming weekend. As for the rest of the country, well, we're bracing for the heat, aren't we? More than 150 million Americans under heat alerts right now. We're shattering records out west, 3 days in a row with records in Fresno. You know, it's downright hot when we're setting records in Palm Springs, up to 118 tomorrow and Saturday. Pretty hot down towards the south as well, with a heat index up to 110. So as we're celebrating the holiday, make sure you pace yourselves and try to think cool thoughts. Right, Nick?
Max, I saw 114 in Phoenix, and 2 of my closest friends live there. They're going to melt.
Yeah.
Simply melt. Max Siparis, thank you so much. Also making news this morning, a leading House Democrat wants to amend the Constitution to reverse the Supreme Court's landmark presidential immunity ruling. New York Representative Joseph Morell says he wants to ensure that no president is above the law. Morell, on the House Administration Committee, plans to file a resolution to start the amendment process. Now, keep in mind, the Constitution was ratified more than 230 years ago, and there's only been, 27 amendments so far. So this is indeed a long shot. Now, Morell's resolution would need a 2/3 vote in both the House and the Senate, and then ratified by 3/4 of the states. Flag on the play. The NFL may have to pay a hefty fine of more than $4 billion. You heard me correct. That's billion with the B. The lawsuit claimed the NFL violated antitrust laws by selling the Sunday ticket package at an inflated price and restricting competition. The league was found liable for more than $4 billion in damages to 2.4 million home subscribers and more than $96 million in damages to 48,000 business subscribers. Each of the 32 teams would be responsible for paying a little more than $400 million. The NFL plans to appeal that verdict. And the yellow mustard belt is on the line in the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest today. 15 men and 14 women will compete to eat the most hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. Now, the women kick off the festivities in Coney Island around 10:45 Eastern, followed by the men's competition at noon. Joey Chestnut, who won 16 of the last 17 men's competitions, will instead take his talents to El Paso, Texas. That competition will be with soldiers at Fort Bliss, Texas. Major League Eating, who puts on the Nathan's contest, said Chestnut could not take part because of his partnership with meat substitute brand Impossible Foods. That looks great. Yankee Stadium kicking off 4th of July celebrations, and the crowd cheering as the fireworks display lit up the field. This is just one of many events across the country joining in on all of the festive fun. But with bigger crowds, police and fire departments are expected to be on high alert. News Nation's Alicia Nieves joins us live from New York City, one of the cities on alert, but it's also ahead of these celebrations. They want everyone just to be aware, right, Alicia?
Yeah, of course, Nick. I mean, this is where we see one of the biggest fireworks displays and shows around the country, right? The Macy's annual fireworks show. That's going to happen, of course, where we're standing at right now along the Hudson River here in New York City. We're going to see thousands of officers, multiple police agencies from the NYPD to counterterrorism to Homeland Security to make sure that everyone is safe here. What you're seeing right now is what we saw last year and a bit of a glimpse of what we're going to see later on today. The NYPD stressing while there will be a large police presence here for the show today, there is no credible threat, though, at the moment to the city. But, of course, they're going to stay on the lookout, be just vigilant of any suspicious activity. And that's because they're protecting what is expected to be about 2 million people spectating and watching this fireworks display here. We're going to see about 6,000 NYPD officers protecting them. But that's the case around the country, right? Everyone kind of on high alert, especially in major cities. If we go to Boston, for example, officials there saying they're on kind of high alert for the massive firework display that takes place at the annual Boston Pop Spectacular. Hundreds of thousands of people expected to be at that event. And the Massachusetts State Police say that their plans include investigative, tactical, and intelligence resources that can respond to any situation at a moment's notice. And then where you're at in Chicago, Nick, 1,500 officers we're told have been added to the Chicago Police Department to watch out for any threats there. The biggest crowds expected to be at the city's famous Navy Pier. If we go to our nation's capital, we will see hundreds of thousands of people on the National Mall where authorities say they have in place road closures already, watercraft restrictions, and absolutely no drones. But one of the biggest concerns there really is around the temperatures. You and Max were just talking about that a moment ago. The heat index expected to be about 100 degrees, so warning people to stay hydrated while authorities look out for other threats there.
And Alicia, you were talking about those security and threat concerns, not just in the Midwest and on the East Coast, because there are concerns out west too, but they're a little bit different.
Yeah, slightly different concerns out west. I mean, every major city has concerns for any, rogue incident or any kind of credible threat. But out west in particular, the concern is around illegal fireworks. In cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco, authorities are worried about that, not just because of the risk to individuals, right, getting injured by utilizing those fireworks improperly, but because of the hot and dry temperatures out there, the risk to spark a wildfire while parts of the West and Southwest are already dealing with some of those wildfire incidents. So authorities trying to take precautions, trying to issue warnings so that we can enjoy the fireworks display without any issues, Nick.
Or more fires or accidents. Alicia Nieves, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Some of America's heroes getting a special Independence Day treat. Take a look at this. Military veterans and their families getting in the mud for the ultimate off-road experience and adventure in therapy. And Toro Terror, a runaway bull giving the horns to locals in the street. How he broke loose and where he is now.
Hey, this is Colonel John Beatty, United States Air Force, wishing everybody a happy 4th of July from everybody at the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering. I want to say hello to everybody back in Saranac Lake, New York. Go Yankees.
Someone needs to customize and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Wait, there's an elevator?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I own a lot of businesses, so my tech and my network need to keep up. Thank you, Verizon Business.
Now our businesses get fast and reliable internet from the same network that powers our phones.
So whatever's next, we're cooking with fire.
Switch to the partner businesses rely on.
Nothing comes close to this place in the morning. I'm so glad I can still come here. You see, I was diagnosed with obstructive HCM, and there were some days I was so short of breath, I thought I'd have to settle for never stepping foot on this trail again. I became great at making excuses, but I have people who count on me, so I talked to my cardiologist. I said there must be more we can do for my symptoms. He told me about a medication called Camzyos. He said Camzyos works by targeting what's causing my obstructive HCM, so he prescribed it, and I'm really glad he did.
Camzyos is used to treat adults with symptomatic obstructive HCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and your ability to be active. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased if you develop a serious infection or irregular heartbeat or when taking certain other medicines. So do not stop, start, or change medicines or the dose without telling your healthcare provider. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help if you experience new or worsening symptoms of heart failure. Because of this risk, Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking Camzyos, tell your doctor about all of your medical conditions, including current or planned pregnancy.
Today with Camzyos, I don't lose my breath as often. My symptoms have improved, helping me go from expecting less to experiencing more.
My name is Mike, and this is my Camzyos moment.
Call your cardiologist today and see if a Camzyos moment may be in your future too.
This summer, snacking just got serious. Introducing new $3 footlong dippers. The world might not be ready for them.
But at $3 a pop, your wallet definitely is.
When life spells heartburn, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS. Rolaids dual active formula begins to neutralize acid on contact. Rolaids spells relief.
The virus that causes shingles is sleeping in 99% of people over 50. It's lying dormant, waiting, and could reactivate. Shingles strikes as a painful, blistering rash that can last for weeks, and it could wake at any time. Think you are not at risk for shingles? It's time to wake up, because shingles could wake up in you. If you're over 50, talk to your doctor or pharmacist about shingles prevention.
News Nation tonight.
Reagan, like you've never seen before.
Government is not the solution to our problem.
The words that captured a nation.
Government is the problem.
The images that defined an era.
We have made a new beginning, but we have only begun.
The history that changed the world.
Tear down this wall.
Reagan, Portrait of a Presidency. Tonight at 8/7 Central on News Nation. News for all America.
The Medal of Honor to Private Philip G. Shadrack and Private George D. Wilson, United States Army.
President Biden honoring two Civil War Union soldiers known as train raiders 162 years after their mission. The families of Privates Philip Shadrack and George Wilson accepting the Medal of Honor on their behalf. These soldiers are part of a covert op to steal a Confederate train and sabotage communications. President Biden saying they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve. And dozens of military veterans and their families getting in on some lessons of adventure and driving ahead of today's holiday. Now, Ford Motor Company and Blue Star families hosting the first ever Proud to Honor Bronco Off-Road Rodeo event in Horseshoe Bay, Texas. Our American heroes getting behind the wheel and into the muck to have fun and create special memories. News Nation's Ryan Bass joins us. And Ryan, how did they make this event actually happen? Because this is something that we love. We love any time we have an opportunity to celebrate veterans and their families.
And that's exactly what happened in Texas as Ford really went all out here, Nick. It was a huge celebration with 150 military members and their families on hand for this first ever Proud to Honor Bronco Off-Rodeo event, which happened earlier this week. And best of all, it was free for them. Ford picked up the entire tab. The Bronco Off-Rodeo is one of the automaker's adventure driving schools, but it had a military twist this time around with trail guides who had actually served as well, Veterans Affairs representatives and resources at the event, and a Guitars for Vets concert, a true off-road celebration of both active and fallen heroes. It was also a mix of emotion and nostalgia for folks like Jenny Aiken, a Gold Star wife whose Green Beret husband, Cooper, died from burn pit-related cancer last year. Jenny says the family would often go off-roading together in Cooper's truck, and this day offered some much-needed adventure therapy.
I cannot really underscore enough how much it helped me heal. And I know that sounds very hyperbolic, but it's not. You know, my husband died almost a year ago to the day from when I participated. And it was just a time to kind of reconnect, let go, and start enjoying and living again.
So incredibly grateful for Jenny's strength and for so many of the stories that we heard at that event as well, with, Nick, all of our military branches represented in Texas.
Ryan, I have to ask you the obvious question. You told me that Ford is sponsoring this particular off-road rodeo, but how are some of the other automakers honoring our military?
They're all rallying behind our troops and those who have served, which is so incredible to see. Chevy and GM are actually giving away a pair of SUVs to military personnel during Major League Baseball's All-Star game coming up in Texas in just a few weeks. Tesla actually just introduced a military purchase program with a $1,000 discount. And then you have Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Volkswagen. They offer up to $5,000 off their fleet for service members and their families. So all of our automakers doing what they can, Nick, to show love for those who have served and our families as well, who have paid the ultimate
And
sacrifice.
Ryan, I know you, like all of us there, we celebrate the men and women who serve and their families. Thank you so much, Ryan Bass. The Cayman Islands, Cancun in the path of Hurricane Beryl. The parts of the U.S. that could even be in the storm sites, and we're tracking its deadly movements across the Caribbean. And right now, we're taking a live look at the American flag in Sandy, Utah, just outside of Salt Lake City. Happy 4th.
On Medicare? Have diabetes? When enjoying life's special moments, are you left guessing which foods are right for you? With the Freestyle Libre 3 system, you'll know your glucose and where it's headed. No finger sticks needed. Freestyle Libre 3. Manage your diabetes with more confidence and lower your A1C so you can focus on those special moments. Covered by Medicare for more people managing diabetes with insulin. Talk to your provider or visit freestylelibre.us/Medicare.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. Hey, watch it. It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face. Game changer. While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke for the ultimate Gillette shaving experience. The best a man can get is Gillette Labs.
I own a lot of businesses, so my tech and my network need to keep up. Thank you, Verizon Business.
Now our businesses get fast and reliable internet from the same network that powers our phones.
So whatever's next, we're cooking with fire.
Switch to the partner businesses rely on.
Oh, my denture's uncomfortable.
Dracula, let's fight back against discomfort with new Polygrip Power Max Hold and Comfort. It has superior hold, plus keeps us comfy all day with its pressure-absorbing layer.
Time for a bite.
If your mouth could talk, it would ask for
Polygrip.
Here's why you should switch from Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine like Google, but it's private and doesn't spy on your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse like Chrome, but it blocks cookies and creepy ads that follow you around from Google and other companies. And there's no catch. It's free. We make money from ads, but they don't follow you around. Join the millions of people taking back their privacy by downloading DuckDuckGo on all your devices today.
Itch, itch, scratch, must not itch.
Stop the itch sanity with Cortisone 10 for bug bites, poison ivy, and other itches. Cortisone 10 is #1 doctor recommended. It works fast and lasts for hours. Cortisone 10.
HomeGlow just cleaned my entire house for $19. Seriously, $19. They showed up right on time and did my dishes, my laundry. They even cleaned my windows. You just pick a date, pick a cleaner, and enjoy a spotless house for $19. I love using HomeGlow, and I think you will too.
I can feel the winds of change.
You're their favorite aunt.
So we decided if anything happened to us,
We want you to take the kids. Oh, you guys.
Doesn't count. This is giving me the fuzzies. But what you need is a will. Trust and Will makes it easy. For as low as $199, you can quickly create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. What's cooking?
Twins.
Twins. Start your will at trustandwill.com and make it count.
Welcome back. 27 minutes after the hour. Here's a look at the top stories we're following this morning. A group of Democratic governors putting their support behind President Biden a week after his disappointing debate performance. This coming as other Democratic lawmakers publicly call on him to drop his re-election bid. Leading House Democrat Representative Joseph Morell wants to amend the Constitution to reverse the Supreme Court's landmark presidential immunity ruling. He sent a letter to his colleagues informing them of his intent to file the resolution. It would then need a 2/3 vote in both the House and the Senate and ratification by 3/4 of the states. And police in major cities across the country on high alert today as Americans gather to celebrate Independence Day. From New York to LA, events honoring our great nation blanket the country. Authorities also reminding all to stay safe and practice caution when using legal fireworks. All right, let's get to more of our Thursday morning headlines. The Jewish community heartbroken after nearly 200 tombstones were turned to be found vandalized this week. The grave markers broken and toppled over at 2 Jewish cemeteries outside of Cincinnati. President Biden putting out a statement calling the act anti-Semitic, despicable, and vile, and condemning the vandals. Police are looking for suspects. And right now, America's closest ally, Britain, is holding a snap election and will likely elect a new prime minister. All polls suggest Prime Minister Sunak and his long-ruling Conservative Party will lose in a landslide. Polling suggests Keir Starmer will become the next British prime minister, and his left-center Labour Party will sweep Parliament. Now, Britain's cost of living, their crisis, and economy are the key issues driving the election. The first poll to indicate who will likely win will be released at 5 Eastern. And a 4th human case of the bird flu has now been confirmed. The CDC saying it's linked to dairy cows in Colorado, where the herd reportedly had an outbreak of that virus. Like the other 3 cases this year, the 4th person has had mild symptoms of pink eye but is now recovered. This is the first human case in Colorado, and officials are saying the risk is still low. The streets of Peru looking like a rodeo this week. Take a look at this video. A runaway bull charged police, pedestrians, cars, and even a biker, knocking them over. Now, the police were eventually able to wrangle that bull and get him back to his owner, who then agreed to pay for all the damage his bull caused. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt. And right now, we're taking a live look at the Cayman Islands, where feeling the effects of Hurricane Beryl are real. That storm is making its way through the Caribbean, and we have continued to watch it. Now, the southern U.S. is keeping a close eye on Beryl, concerned that it could be in the path of this powerful, deadly storm. Beryl has killed at least 8 people across the Caribbean, and at this hour, the Category 3 hurricane has winds around 120 miles an hour as it heads toward the Cayman Islands. Next, our Weather Center Chief Meteorologist Brian James is tracking it all. And Brian, we've been following the storm, but we know that you have the latest information. Where are we now?
Yes. Yeah, Nick, we're still watching Beryl quite intently, of course, because of its forecast track, expected to make it pretty close to the southern part of the U.S. coming up as we head through, especially early next week. But if you've been watching Beryl the last few days, this does not look nearly as organized as what it did. That's good news. That means it's not nearly as strong, although it still has winds at 120 miles an hour, a Category 3 hurricane. The overall trend should be for it to weaken as it moves back to the west toward the Yucatan Peninsula, get pretty close to Cancun, will pass probably just to the south of, and then move back into the Bay of Campeche. Does it curl to the north and make all the way into southern parts of Texas? Most of the models generally agree with that consensus. It is expected to weaken to a tropical storm as it makes its way on through the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. Should strengthen back to a Category 1. Not expecting the rapid intensification once it gets back out over the Gulf. That's going to be the biggest thing we're going to watch as we go into the early part of next week. But as we head toward early Monday morning, that's when we expect it to make landfall, probably somewhere right across extreme northern parts of Mexico. Southern parts of the U.S. could be pretty close to Brownsville, with that storm surge being the biggest concern. Most of the computer models have it going across the Bay of Campeche, then taking that turn to the north. Notice how it kind of spreads out a little bit, but most of the concentration for the models going across southern parts of the state of Texas. And the winds, we're talking about tropical storm force winds getting up to Category 1, Category 2, but it will likely weaken as it moves across the Yucatan Peninsula. Does it strengthen when it gets back over the Gulf? That's going to be the biggest question. Nick, back to you.
And Brian, we'll keep an eye on things. Brian, thank you so much. News Nation is taking you along the southern border, where volunteers are helping migrants living in camps. Why they give food and water to the families, and we hear from migrants who say they're waiting for their turn to legally enter the country, and what they think of those who are not.
Hi, I am Senior Airman Teresa Schammer, currently stationed here at Joint Base Andrews. I just wanted to give a big shout out to all my friends and family out in Warwick, Rhode Island, and happy Independence Day.
At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. We designed smarter ways to detect motion for fast emergency response. We create HD cameras so you can see what's happening in your home from anywhere, all powered by Fast Protect technology. exclusively from SimpliSafe for faster police response. Get SimpliSafe today with 1 free month of Fast Protect monitoring, our most advanced way to protect your home. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Known for following your dreams. Known for keeping with tradition. Known for discovering new places. No one wants to be known for cancer, but a treatment can be. Keytruda is known to treat cancer, FDA approved for 17 types of cancer, including certain early stage and advanced cancers. One of those cancers is early stage non-small cell lung cancer. Keytruda may be used with certain chemotherapies before surgery when you have early stage lung cancer, which can be removed by surgery, and then continued alone after surgery to help prevent your lung cancer from coming back.
Keytruda can cause your immune system to attack healthy parts of your body during or after treatment. This may be severe and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you have cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, diarrhea, severe stomach pain, severe nausea or vomiting, headache, light sensitivity, eye problems, irregular heartbeat, extreme tiredness, constipation, dizziness or fainting, changes in appetite, thirst or urine, confusion, memory problems, muscle pain or weakness, fever, rash, itching or flushing. There may be other side effects. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems. If you've had or plan to have an organ, tissue, or stem cell transplant, receive chest radiation, or have a nervous system problem.
Keytruda is an immunotherapy and is also being studied in hundreds of clinical trials exploring ways to treat even more types of cancer. It's true. Keytruda from Merck. See all the types of cancer Keytruda is known for at Keytruda.com and ask your doctor if Keytruda could be right for you.
Imagine a future where plastic is not wasted, but instead remade over and over into the things that keep our food fresher, our families safer, and our planet cleaner. To help us get there, America's plastic makers are investing billions of dollars to create innovative products and new recycling technologies for sustainable change. Because when you push for smarter solutions, big things can happen.
Okay, everyone, our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
So, how long have you lived here?
Over 40 years.
And how are the restaurants around here? Are they good, bad, meh? What's the average household income? Is there a mall? I don't know, a hair salon? Where do you get your hair done?
You gonna move or what?
I'm sorry, it's a lovely neighborhood.
Marcy, we've gotta go.
I'm coming.
We've got 17,000 more parks to visit.
You wanna give me a hand?
We bring you the best neighborhood info.
Ding dong.
Homes.com.
This summer, snacking just got serious. Introducing new $3 footlong dippers. The world might not be ready for them. But at $3 a pop, your wallet definitely is.
36 minutes after the hour, where immigration remains a top concern for voters across the country. A new Gallup poll shows it's right behind the economy as the most important problem facing the United States. As thousands cross the border illegally each day, there are migrants who take the proper avenues to get into the United States. And for those migrant families who do need help, humanitarian groups and volunteers are assisting. Senior national correspondent Brian Enton shows us their journey.
Within minutes of driving along the border in Arizona, we saw people all walking in the same direction. They come through holes and gaps in the border wall.
¿De dónde eres?
De Aguascalientes, México.
¿México?
Sí.
Hola. ¿De dónde eres?
Ecuador.
Ecuador. Ecuador also, yeah? Sí.
Ecuador.
Where are you from?
Guinea-Conakry, Africa.
Oh, from Africa?
Yes.
You came here all the way from Africa?
Yeah, Guinea-Conakry.
Oh, wow. Where are you going?
To camp.
Okay.
Camp.
To camp?
To camp.
You're going to camp?
Yeah.
Over the hill, we spot the camp, a small tent city. Families with young children and also single men. The migrants arrive every couple of hours, waiting for Border Patrol to pick them up. It's one of several camps in the area, and through word of mouth, migrants know exactly where the camps are. American volunteers, like retired dental technician Bob Key, cook for the migrants. The volunteers say they identify as both Democrats and Republicans.
It doesn't sound like you guys are for or against what they're doing. It's more just looking out for humanity.
We're looking out for humanity. I'm not here to judge these folks. I'm not here to do that.
I'm here to provide assistance, and that's why we're here. How do you look at a child and not provide them with food or water or some comfort? I can't turn away. That's part of my belief system.
Not far in Nogales, Arizona, we walk through a tunnel and realize just how quick and easy it is to get into Mexico.
How long have you been waiting?
¿Cuánto tiempo ha estado esperando? 6 months.
6 months.
Families are sleeping on sidewalks, waiting on the Mexican side for appointments to enter the United States. This is what it looks like to wait and try to enter the U.S. legally.
So you've been sleeping here for 10 days. Why not just walk across like other people?
Han estado aquí durmiendo por 10 días. ¿Por qué no cruzan como las otras personas están haciendo? They're waiting their turn. They want to do the right thing and they want to come in through a port. Yeah.
At this nearby shelter called Kino Border Initiative, we found hundreds of migrants also waiting their turn, choosing not to cross illegally and instead wait for an appointment.
People are stranded in Nogales for 6-7 months now, trying to scrape together money for their family, trying to make a life.
Like so many humanitarian groups at the border, Kino Border Initiative is a Catholic charity. The executive director, Joanna Williams, drives from Arizona into Mexico every day to work at the shelter with migrants who are waiting and waiting and waiting.
The people who are turning themselves into Border Patrol and the people who are presenting themselves at the port here want to be in a legal system. So they want to have their cases heard and considered and go through a process in the U.S.
Brian Enton, News Nation.
This morning, we're live at the UFO capital of the world. Xavier, it's a big week for believers.
Nick, it is the biggest. Good morning. I made a new friend here at the Invasion Station. How do you feel about this weekend coming up? Nothing? No comment? All right, I have a tough customer. We're going to have much more than that coming up after the break. Previewing UFO Fest coming up next.
Can you do this? As early as your 40s, you may lose muscle and strength. Protein supports muscle health. Ensure Max Protein has a 30-gram blend of high-quality protein to feed muscles for up to 7 hours. So take the challenge. Ensure nutrition for strength and energy.
It was one thing when my mom got Alzheimer's, but then we started noticing things that seemed off. She developed agitation that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Sometimes she'd fidget with her fingers, get suddenly overwhelmed, and even throw things. And that was just never her. So we asked her doctor what else we could do.
Rexulti is the only FDA-approved medication proven to reduce agitation symptoms that may happen with dementia due to Alzheimer's disease. Rexulti can cause serious side effects. Elderly dementia patients have increased risk of death or stroke, report fever, stiff muscles, and confusion, which can be life-threatening, or uncontrolled muscle movements, which may be permanent. High blood sugar, which can lead to coma or death, weight gain, increased cholesterol, low white blood cells, unusual urges, dizziness on standing, falls, seizures, trouble swallowing, or sleepiness may occur.
Rexulti helped reduce my mom's symptoms.
Take action for your loved one. Ask their doctor about Rexulti.
Oh, my denture's uncomfortable.
Dracula, let's fight back against discomfort with new Polygrip Power Max Hold and Comfort. It has superior hold, plus keeps us comfy all day with its pressure-absorbing layer.
Time for the bite.
If your mouth could talk, it would ask for
Polygrip.
I own a lot of businesses, so my tech and my network need to keep up. Thank you, Verizon Business.
Now our businesses get fast and reliable internet from the same network that powers our phones.
So whatever's next, we're cooking with fire.
Switch to the partner businesses rely on.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Cool the pain with BioFreeze and keep on going. BioFreeze, green means go.
The itch and rash of moderate to severe eczema disrupts my skin night and day. Despite treatment, it's still not under control. But now I have Rinvoq. Rinvoq is a once-daily pill that reduces the itch and helps clear the rash of eczema fast. Some Rinvoq patients felt significant itch relief as early as 2 days. Some achieved dramatic skin clearance as early as 2 weeks. And many taking Rinvoq saw clear or almost clear skin.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB. Serious infections and blood clots, some fatal. Cancers, including lymphoma and skin. Heart attack, stroke, and GI tears occurred. People 50 and older with a heart disease risk factor have an increased risk of death. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Help heal your painful skin. Disrupt the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your doctor about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration experts, can give you your real hair back permanently. Check them out because they're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who scans this QR code. Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they're ahead of the curve. They use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Scan the QR code. Don't wait. Scan the code now and ask about the Bosley Guarantee.
Welcome back. 44 minutes after the hour. America's birthday isn't the only thing to celebrate this weekend. Thousands are landing in Roswell, New Mexico for its annual UFO festival. Woo! Our News Nation's Xavier Walton is there this morning. And Xavier, a lot of people still don't buy the story of what happened in Roswell back in 1947.
Nick, very true, but you're not going to find him here. Hey, before we came on, I teased this guy right here. It was rude of me. I didn't introduce him. This is Ross, first name Ross, last name Well. He resides here at the Invasion Station here in the UFO capital of the world. And let me just tell you this, everywhere you go, there's some reminder of where we are. This McDonald's actually has a flying saucer on it. The airport, gas stations have aliens. Even the street lights have two little black eyes. So when they light up, they look like little aliens. That's the lay of the land. And here this weekend, you know what it's going to be like? This city's Super Bowl as tens of thousands of people descend on the desert here in southeastern New Mexico for a stellar event. Hey, organizers saying prepare for an out-of-this-world experience like no other. Roughly 46,000 people live here in Roswell. This weekend for the UFO Fest, that number is going to likely double, meaning big, big money. And in recent years, turnout gotten even bigger. Same expected for this year. The event begins tomorrow. But if I'm being completely honest, when you look around here, around the town, it really does look like a year-round type of celebration here in Roswell.
Xavier, I have to ask you, though, has News Nation's ability, with us being the first to break the story about the UFO whistleblowers in the government, has that had any impact on turnout?
Yes, and the name David Grush definitely rings bells here. Even when you talk to people, locals, they can tell the difference between, say, 3 years ago to what it is now, not just by, sheer numbers, but also the different kind of conversations people are having, the different panels that people, discuss. I mean, even at this weekend's event, the UFOologists that are going to be there, we're hoping to speak to a few of them. The tone of these discussions, the tone of the panels, certainly taking on a more serious approach, try to dispel what's real, what isn't real. Those are all real things that they are certainly going to be talking about. We are hoping to get in touch with some of them, hoping to speak with some of those speakers that are going to be, speaking at UFO Fest. Also hoping to speak, we saw a flying saucer video, a flying saucer driving, there it is. And the guy got pulled over coming from Missouri. And you know what? We got in touch with them. We're hoping to talk with them a little bit later. That's just a couple of things we're working on here as we're getting ready for UFO Fest 2024. Nick, a lot going on here in Roswell.
A lot going on. Xavier Walton, live for us this morning. Xavier, thank you. Well, every weekday morning for the past 10 years, one group of veterans has met for coffee at the same table inside of a Texas grocery store. It's a way for them to come together and share their stories. But the tradition has been going on much longer, for 2 decades. Juliana Washburn from our News Nation affiliate in Lubbock, Texas, has that story.
In a Starbucks coffee shop, just inside the Market Street doors, you'll hear these laughs. It's It's a group of veterans, all from different backgrounds,
U.S. Marine.
sitting down
Just getting coffee.
with a hot cup of coffee to share their stories.
I was in the Navy for 4 years.
That's John Wolf. He's one of the ones who helped start the Uniformed Services Coffee Group. Wolf says they share just about everything.
Everybody brings something.
Well, there's a few exceptions.
We try to avoid talking about religion and politics.
They want to keep it lighthearted.
As you get a little bit older and closer to the end than you are to the beginning of life, that it's a nice place where you can concentrate on the here and now.
Sometimes bringing newer members.
That's the second granddaughter.
And never forgetting the members who've passed.
And Ronnie. And we remember those guys every day.
Most importantly, they're always there for each other.
That's just the way it works.
We love that. And today is all about celebrating America, so we brought the party here, right outside our News Nation headquarters. So we have some holiday favorites, shaved ice and hot dogs. We'll introduce you to Lincoln's Hot Dogs and the 15-year-old boy behind the stand. And as we honor America today, how about a little trivia to celebrate? According to National Geographic, approximately how many fireworks displays take place across America on July 4th? Is it A, 1 million, B, 100,000, C, 43,000, or D, 14,000? The answer when we come back.
I've always been an active person, biking, running, but yoga, it's really special to me. It's definitely a big part of who I am, and I love the way it makes me feel. But there was a time not long ago when I felt I had to accept the idea of hanging up this old yoga mat. You see, I have symptomatic obstructive HCM, which left me so short of breath, I just couldn't get out here, making me feel like a bystander in my own life. So I talked to my cardiologist, and he told me about Camzyos. He said Camzyos works by targeting what's causing my obstructive HCM. So he prescribed it, and I'm so thankful he did.
Camzyos is used to treat adults with symptomatic obstructive HCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and your ability to be active. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased if you develop a serious infection or irregular heartbeat or when taking certain other medicines. So do not stop, start, or change medicines or the dose without telling your healthcare provider. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help if you experience new or worsening symptoms of heart failure. Because of this risk, Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking Camzyos, tell your doctor about all of your medical conditions, including current or planned pregnancy.
With Camzyos reducing my symptoms, I've gone from sitting on the sidelines to being back in the game.
My name is Stephanie, and this is my Camzyos moment.
Call your cardiologist today and see if a Camzyos moment may be in your future, too.
Pain means pause on the things you love, but green means go. Cool the pain with BioFreeze and keep on going. BioFreeze, green means go.
This summer, snacking just got serious. Introducing new $3 footlong dippers. The world might not be ready for them.
But at $3 a pop, your wallet definitely is.
Life, diabetes, there's no slowing down. Each day is a unique blend of people to see and things to do. That's why you choose Glucerna to help manage blood sugar response. Uniquely designed with Carb Steady. Glucerna, bring on the day.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds. With all the money I saved, thought I'd buy stilts. Hi, honey. Hey. Oh, look, no line at the hot dog stand.
Yes.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. The virus that causes shingles is sleeping in 99% of people over 50. It's lying dormant, waiting, and could reactivate. Shingles strikes as a painful, blistering rash that can last for weeks, and it could wake at any time. Think you are not at risk for shingles? It's time to wake up, because shingles could wake up in you. If you're over 50, talk to your doctor or pharmacist about shingles prevention.
When your home gets bugs, the struggle is real. That's why you need Zevo Traps. Zevo goes wherever bugs do. working 24/7 using blue and UV light to attract and trap flying insects with no odor and no mess, getting rid of the bugs you see and even the ones you don't, for effortless protection everywhere in your home. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly. To catch up to twice the bugs, try Zevo Max.
Welcome back. Happy 4th of July. Before the break, I asked you a trivia question. According to the National Geographic, approximately how many fireworks displays take place across America on July 4th? Do you believe it's A, 1 million, B, 100,000, C, 43,000, or D, 14,000? Well, if you answered D, you're correct. 14,000. More than 14,000 fireworks displays light up the U.S. skies each 4th of July. We know this 4th of July is going to be a scorcher, right? We've looked at the map. It's a hot one. More than 150 million Americans under heat alerts right now as we celebrate the holiday. Meteorologist Max Paris is showing us how to stay cool while celebrating with a few sweet treats. He's outside our News Nation studio. Max, I heard there's a party going on down there, and Nick wasn't invited.
Nick, hopefully you can come down in the next hour, but certainly we're celebrating the 4th of July just like everyone else is here at home. Look at this. It is a party. We got Lincoln Dogs, we got Kona Ice, we're staying cool, we're celebrating properly, right? There it is. There's all of our fun coworkers having some fun. So let's start with Kona Ice, though. We're going here because we're trying to stay cool, and we have Layla from the company. Layla, thanks so much for being with us here at News Nation. Keeping us cool because you can definitely tell we're all sweating.
Yes.
Tell us about the company. You're all over the U.S., though, right?
We are. We have over 1,600 trucks in 49 states and even Canada. So we are all over. You can check us out on Find a Kona, Kona-ice.com. Type in your zip code, and the truck nearest you will come up, and we'll get you hooked up.
Amazing. Now, what I always wonder, though, because you guys serve shaved ice.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
When I was growing up, it was all about the snow cones. Is there a difference?
There is. Shaved ice is better. So shaved ice, it's the nice fluffy ice, not the hard, crunchy ice.
Oh, okay.
So nice fluffy snow. We like the snow texture.
Yeah, a little more ground up. That makes sense.
Yep.
I like that. Okay, well, let's talk about these flavors. Let's move over here. We got a lot of red, white, and blue going on.
Yes.
So what goes into, so we got blue. What is that, blueberry?
We have blue raspberry. It's our most popular flavor. And then we actually have an LTO flavor today, Rocket Pop. That is our seasonal summer LTO. We come out with seasonal flavors each season, and we have a team of flavor developers, so we can come out with things all the time.
All right, great. Layla, thank you so much. Kona-ice.com. Let's go over to the Lincoln Dogs because you got to meet this kid over here. Link, pleasure meeting you. Well, nope, I guess we can't shake hands. There, a little elbow
Happy 4th
bump.
of July.
Happy 4th, Link. All right, this is Lincoln Dogs, named after you, land of Lincoln. Which one?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of both?
Abe Lincoln, Land of Lincoln. We're usually at Oz Park, which is on Lincoln Avenue, so I guess all around Lincoln.
All around. How did you even get involved with all this? You're like the youngest entrepreneur I know.
Thank you so much. I've always had a liking for serving the masses, and I was doing a Chicago project when I was in 3rd grade. I think I was 9 years old, and I did it on Chicago food.
Yeah?
And that's where I found out there was a hot dog university at Vienna Beef, ran by masterful teacher Bill Murphy. Shout out Murph if you're watching us.
And you're the youngest person to actually graduate from Hot Dog U, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it definitely shows. You got your parents helping you out behind here. Now, important question though.
Let's do it.
Ketchup, no ketchup. This is Chicago after all.
I mean, yeah, we have the ketchup for children, not a towners, but I'm not a judger, you know?
That's good. You're willing to serve anyone and what they want. Well, you got a dog ready for me over here? I see your parents wrapping on one. Excellent. Oh, just a plain one? No,
you want dressed
We need
up?
the full toppings. And you know what? We're going to be
sick,
making them with the full toppings coming up in the next hour. Nick, we do hope you stick around for that. Making our own Kona Ice. Got to take a quick bite here before we send it back to you. And we'll save you some in the studio, Nick. Don't worry.
Max, we love that. And remember, Chicagoans do not put ketchup on hot dogs. Max, thank you so much.
Nick,
Looking forward to taking a bite out of these treats and more fun with you in the next hour. Wow, that looks like fun. We all think of hot dogs, burgers, barbecue, and ice cream on the 4th of July, of course. But 100 years ago today, the Caesar salad was invented at a restaurant in Tijuana, Mexico. And ever since, our palates, diners, lunches, and brunches have never been the same.
A perfect salad for that special dinner party, in my opinion, is the classic Caesar salad.
The simple yet complex Caesar salad turns 100 today. Many believe the healthy hitter was invented to honor the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar, but The real origin of the story begins with this man, Cesar Cardini, an Italian immigrant restaurateur who owned Caesar's Palace in Tijuana, Mexico. Cardini debuted the salad on July 4th, 1924, when an influx of Americans came to Tijuana to escape prohibition. With its nostalgic notes of Italian cuisine, romaine leaves, garlic oil, Worcestershire sauce, lemons, egg, and Parmesan cheese, there were no anchovies, folks. Cardini created an instant classic.
The Caesar salad is the greatest salad. The trick to keeping dishes like this modern and relevant is to tweak them, but not lose what made them brilliant in the first place.
100 years later, and the salad is still one of the most popular salads amongst Americans. According to Straw Poll, Cardini's invention is the second most beloved salad, sandwiched between the Greek in first place and spinach in third. And to this day, Caesar's Palace in Tijuana serves up the classic tableside just as Cardini did a century ago. And to commemorate the centennial, Tijuana is celebrating with a 3-day wine and food festival, also unveiling a statue of Cardini. Grab your coffee. We have more news for All America.